Dear students of class 7, as we have studied in our last video about the Crusades, we have studied that the Holy Land of Jerusalem, located in the present day Israel, had a great importance for three religious communities. What are these three religious communities? Christians, Muslims, and Jews. The Christians believed that the Christ was crucified and resurrected in Jerusalem. So it is an important place for Christians. For the Muslims, it was the place from where the Prophet Muhammad ascended to the heaven. Means the Muslims believes that Prophet Muhammad went to the heaven from this place. For the Jews, it was the site where their king Solomon had built an ancient temple. So, for them also, it is an important place. The Crusades were an effort by the Christian Pope Urban II to reclaim the Holy Land from the Turks, and they wanted to just regain the Holy Land from the Turks. So, what was the impact of this war? Which was means the crusade is also called as holy wars. So what are the impacts of the holy wars? So we'll study now. We'll also do the question answer in this video, so please be till the last and listen to the video very carefully. It will be very fruitful for you all. Impact of the Crusades. Though the Christian Crusades could never decisively win control over Jerusalem. So Christians fought crusades. There were 8 crusades and they could not get the proper control over Jerusalem. The Crusades opened the door for both economic and cultural exchange between Christian and the Arab world. During the war, the Arab and the East or West came in contact with each other, which was to continue for centuries, and this exchange of the culture and the business and everything, that continued for many centuries. The Christians were deeply impressed by the splendor, means the magnificent, and the learning of the Arab world. Means the Christians were very much impressed. They liked the Arab learning and the way they live their life. This eventually brought about many changes in Europe as well. And as they came in contact with the Arab world, the European got many changes in their lifestyle and in their own culture. Renaissance. So students, this is Renaissance. What does it mean? It means rebirth. Renaissance means rebirth. The Christian crusaders gained knowledge of several great civilizations as well as the culture and traditions of the Greek and Turks. So as they came in contact with the Greeks and the Turks, they learnt many things from them, and they gained knowledge of several great civilizations. Greeks and Turks, they possessed great civilization, so they exchanged their information with each other. They integrated the best aspect from both the culture to revive Western education and learning. So it was a revival of the Western education and learning. This ushered in the era of Renaissance, and this paved the way. This encouraged the Renaissance, means the rebirth. The period of Renaissance witnessed a revival of classical Greek and Roman literature, which in turn inaugurated modern age in Europe. So after this Renaissance, the world turned into a modern age. The Europe turned into a modern age. It is said that after this Renaissance, when the Europeans came in contact with the Greek and the Turks, then they reached to the modern age. We'll talk about trade and commerce. The Crusades introduced the Europeans to the opulent lifestyle of the East. The Crusades introduced Europeans. The Europeans were not aware of the lifestyle of the East, so they came in contact with the East and they understood that the people belonging to the East lives a luxurious life. Opulent means luxurious. They developed a taste for finer things and luxurious lifestyles of the East, and they experienced the luxurious lifestyles of the East. The European experienced the luxurious lifestyles of the East. European merchants established direct trade links with the East and other parts of the world. So now the European merchants started having their businesses with the East and the other part of the world. This was the impact of the Crusades. Decline of feudalism. I will tell you something very interesting about it. Decline of feudalism. The king did not have at that moment of time the complete power. The power was divided among the feudal lords. So the feudal lords had their own army and they used to provide warriors during the war, and they also shared the taxes with the king. So I'll tell you a very interesting fact now when we'll read this. The knights were the most powerful and wealthiest of the military orders in Europe during the Crusades. Who were the knights? Actually, students, when the Christians used to visit Jerusalem at that moment of time, that those Christians used to face a lot of problems. So there was a group of warrior which was known as knights. They used to give protections to all those Christians, those who visited Jerusalem, a holy land of Jerusalem. Post of Crusades, the Turks introduced the Crusades to guns and gunpowder, and the Turks, they used in the war the guns and the gunpowder. This rendered the services of the knights useless, and this, after this, the services of knights became very useless. The knights were not able to cooperate or give protection to the people. So the services of the knights became useless and led to the fall of the feudal lords. And after this, when they became useless, they were not they were not very useful. Then what has happened? The feudal lords fell, who were in power during this period, and feudal lords were very powerful during the period. But after the Crusades, they could not sustain their power. Centralization of power. I'll talk about centralization of power. With the decline of the feudal lords, the kings gained more power and became the central authoritative figure. So before that, they used to share their power with the feudal lords. When the feudal lords declined, then the king became the central power. The merchant class too became wealthy and gained power. The merchant class means the business class too became wealthy and gained power. They also obtained a little power. They started demanding the establishment of proper law and order in the cities. To have a good business, the merchant class started demanding to the king that there should be a proper law for the people and the proper order in the cities. They also provided abundant funds to the kings. They used to give more taxes to the kings. So king was to understand their problems and was to understand the demands, which furthered the decline of feudal power. And when the merchant started providing funds to the kings, the feudal lords declined. They were not useful at that moment of time. So students, as we have done this exercise in our last video, exercise number A, okay, and exercise number B, match the following, exercise number C, and now we'll do the short question answer. When and why was the Roman Empire divided? If you want to get the answer, here we can write the answer. By 285 C, the Roman Empire had grown so vast that it became difficult to govern all the provinces from Rome. Therefore, Emperor Diocletian divided empire into two parts. Till here you can write, and we all know that what are the two parts: Eastern Roman Empire and Western Roman Empire. So what is the barbarian invasion? So students, the question, we have the answer which can satisfy the question. Here it is. Western Roman Empire faced repeated attacks by various Germanic groups from the north like the Goths, Vandals, Franks, Lombards. These raids are known as the barbarian invasions. So this will be the answer of question number 2. What was life in the monastery like? So when we talk about the monastery life, here we can give the answer. The monastic life was disciplined and simple. There was a very strict code of conduct to be followed by its residents. So this is the answer number 3. 4. What was the main reason for the Crusades? So I have written the answer here of question number 4. If you are not able to see the answer, it's not the problem. I will read it out for you. You listen to this very carefully. You will get the answer surely. The Crusades were launched to reclaim the Holy Land of Jerusalem, which was of great religious significance to the Christians. It had been captured by the Muslim Turks in 637 CE. So this is the answer of question number 4. How did the Crusades lead to the fall of feudal lords? When we were studying that, the Turks introduced the Crusaders to the guns and the gunpowder. This rendered the services of the knights useless and led to the fall of feudal lords. So students, as we have done the short answer, you may write it on your copy. Very soon I'm going to give you the long answer, and I will start the next chapter. I will also teach you civics, which will be important for the first term examination. So till the time, you may write this exercise on your copy, and keep yourself very safe at this moment of time. Use mask and keep studying at home. Thank you so much for watching the video and listening to me very carefully.